the Bengals are playing such a sound and balanced style of football right now. That was an impressive win over the Kansas City Chiefs. The second half defense for the Cincinnati Bengals, they come out in the second half when they make adjustments at halftime and they just lock people down. I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I know that they're impressive. In the second half of that game, they forced a fumble from Travis Kelce.
Which was like, I couldn't believe that play. I was like, oh my
I
God.
know, I know. I mean, he's so automatic and that connection is so otherworldly. Like, I was listening to Kelsey and Mahomes on Jason Kelsey's podcast, and they're like best friends and just so they have such a great rapport. And I know people don't like the Chiefs because they win so much. I love Kelsey and Mahomes and the whole vibe of that team. So I like both of these teams a lot, frankly. But we're seeing like these two guys are Josh Allen. I think Burrow, Josh Allen, and Mahomes are in a league of their own right now because Lamar's been not playing as well, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But Jamar Chase returned to this game. What's so underrated about his play, and honestly, with him and Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, are clearly the best two receivers in the game. They're both so physical in the way that they play, which I think gets really underrated. Justin Jefferson can get slammed to the ground and he holds onto the football. Jamar Chase makes people like not just miss tackles, but also wrenches his body out of tackles every single game. And another element that was so exciting on offense was Burrow's running and scrambling. Like,
and the design runs for him, which I thought
yeah,
were great. And this team
they knew they had to pull out all the stops to beat the Chiefs. But this and just quickly, my point about the Chiefs is this was the first game where I was like, okay, this receiver room is not good enough without Tyreek Hill, and I think it's really showing because the Bengals defense is top 5 right now.
They just, I think, really know how to game plan and kind of like counter the Chiefs and kind of play the chess match with the Chiefs really well. And I obviously, ESVN All-Star Lou Anarumo. Every week I'm just so dazzled by his ability to just like coach up this group that's obviously very good and very well and very like a seamless unit, but not a lot of top line talent all around. Chidobe Awuzie is not fully healthy, so it's not even as if they're at full strength either. But what I thought was very interesting about the entire matchup was you were just seeing kind of both teams trying to figure each other out and trying to like counter and counter and counter. I mean, there were 2 or 3 punts in this game. Like they were just trading punches for like 4 quarters, and it just so happens that credit to the Bengals with everything that they put into this team to be different from what they were before, even what they were from weeks 1 through 5. You saw the line step up. You saw the offensive line playing way better than they were in the first half of the season.
And Zach Taylor, good job. Like, I mean,
design runs.
He's out of the doghouse for me. I mean, Brandon Staley remains firmly in it.
Yeah, he's
still on the hate list.
We're throwing him down a well.
But continue. Sorry.
But I'm saying, in terms of so the line plays one thing. The design runs for Burrow is another. Burrow's smart enough to be smart enough and light enough on his feet to make those plays. You don't always and also the screen game, the screen pass game, the flat game with Samaje Perine with Mixon out. They were able to really utilize him not only as a pass catcher but as a blocker for Burrow with those design runs, and leaving out the plays from behind center in favor of a basically shotgun only offense has like totally revitalized.
Oh my God.
It's wild. They just stopped doing that, and they stopped doing that probably week 5, and they've been one of the 3 best offenses in the league. And Jamar Chase is back now.
I know, and they know that's exactly your point about them being in shotgun as opposed to being in under center. It has changed their offense
for sure.
It has changed their offense because you're putting your team in the hands of your best player, and Burrow is like. I mean,
you're
what else can we say?
You're maximizing his strengths. You're maximizing how how quickly he's able to read what's in front of him, how quickly he's able to maximize the plays and the players and the personnel that are in front of him. And also, he can, like I was saying, even though he can, even if it's designed or not, if he has to use his feet and rush, and if he has to scramble, he can do it. So it's more, like you said, it's just much more. It's indicative of putting much more trust into Burrow, the quarterback, as opposed to being like, we need to play it safe. We need to be under center just to make sure everything is in order, when it's not helping him. It's not helping him to have less space to operate.
They're running the offense so much through him at this point where they're like, the short passing game is like, it's acting as like the way Derrick Henry did for the Titans 100%. 2 years ago, where it's like,
and they're
3
getting
yards,
chunk plays
4 yards, okay, 9 yards.
It's
and
like death by 1,000 cuts, basically.
And it's Burrow just dissecting behind the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And like, to a different degree, they've decided that they're going to make the offense about Joe Burrow in the way that the offense is about Josh Allen and about Patrick Mahomes. But it's less about Burrow's like physical, like arm strength. It's about his mind. And
oh yeah, 100%. He's a genius out there. Like, it's just
he's Peyton Manning-esque, like the way he can see these. I mean, that's like who he reminds me of. Except his footwork is just the fact he's a better athlete. Of course, all these quarterbacks are, unless you're Tom Brady still hanging out there. But like, this is what you have to be in the modern NFL. And Burrow is a good enough athlete. His feet are really, really strong. His footwork is really strong. His mind is right. And like, what is different about the Chiefs and the Bills and the way they run their offense through their quarterback is that the Bengals have more talent than the Bills, certainly. But right now, in terms of weapons, they do have more talent than the Chiefs. And that's what makes them scary, because their defense is playing better than, 85% of the defenses in the NFL right now.
And the fascinating thing too is that it's not even as if the Chiefs played that poorly. In the sense that they were neck and neck with them until the very end. But like, what if MVS doesn't drop two balls? What if Kelsey doesn't fumble? It's really, especially when a team is matching you like this, you kind of have to play mistake-free football. And there were just a few mistakes by the Chiefs that with the Bengals just playing consistently and playing their game, they were able to beat them. And I just wanted to highlight, to your point, one of the I think the perfect summations of the combination of Burrow's skills and the personnel he has available to him. The final play to clinch it for them, the first down throw on an in-breaker from Burrow to T. Higgins. I mean, that is a hard, like high level of difficulty throw. To throw that, he's blanketed by the corner linebackers covering him. The trust that Higgins can hold on to that ball, the positioning of where Higgins caught that ball, and then Higgins using his length and his strength to come down with it to seal the game. It's when I see a play like that, I'm like, this team is back, and this team is ready to compete going further into the month and into next year as well.
And well, in January, this is what's amazing about them, and what perhaps we just were slow to catch up on when they, had that miracle run to the Super Bowl last year, which is that they just have the number of the Chiefs. I mean,
it's crazy that Burrow's never lost to Mahomes.
And the Titans, two teams that have been at the top of the AFC standings for the past few years that you have to get past. And they're undefeated with this Burrow regime, I believe, or at least they're 2-0 against the Titans, 3-0 against the Chiefs. 3-0 against the Chiefs,
yeah. 3-0
which
against
is,
the Chiefs.
No one does that. No one does
crazy.
that.
It's like, it's such a rarity for a team to have, with Mahomes and Reed at the helm, a like positive winning percentage against, let alone an undefeated record against them.
I really, really want them to win the Super Bowl. I want them or the Bills to win the Super Bowl. This is what I want. I really, really want it to be one of those AFC teams. Please don't let it be Philadelphia. The Vikings also don't deserve it. I'm sorry. Like, I like them a lot, but if they did win, I'd be happy about it too. But I just don't think they have the team. The AFC. We're back to like the AFC's in a different class than the NFC at this point.
I remember us talking and after the Super Bowl that the concern could be that Burrow's a guy like Rivers, for example, or a guy in the sense that he makes the Super Bowl, makes a deep playoff run really early in his career, and then just like unfortunately circumstances and a high talent level and the competitive pool in the AFC makes it so that you can't get back.
And a cheap
But
owner that's
right,
like
it's
not
not going to
gonna.
invest in to maximize your chances and things like that. But who's to say? I mean, this team looks not only as good as it did last year. They're employing tools that they weren't last year, and I think that's the most important part. The line actually looks better. These schemes are actually better. The plan looks different, and I think that's really important. And they're still winning the games that they have to win. They're not only looking the part, they're also playing the part better than I think they were last year.